so I have like a lot of experience. I won't tell you how many years experience, but a lot of experience. And I have, since I've been in business here, I have just seen so many good things happen to me, and so many good people have recommended me. And sometimes, you just need a real good recommendation, and it just makes your business boom. And my business has boomed, and I owe a lot of things to a lot of people, and I really appreciate Mobile and how they've welcomed me and made my business grow the way it has. It's been other people that have helped me make my business grow.
How have you seen yourself grow with your designs?
Well, people begin to ask things of you, and you're not sure if you can do them or not, and you begin to try, and so help me, you can do them. I wanted to do roll fondant so badly, and nobody in Mobile would teach you how. And so I began to order tapes. I began to order magazines and books, anything that would tell me what to do with the fondant, and so I could do it. And I really learned myself. And I said, if I ever learn to do this, anybody that wants to know how, I'm going to teach them. And so I did teach continuing educations at South Alabama, because I promised myself that I would teach anybody that wanted to know how to do the fondant. And so really you learn because people begin to demand things of you, and so you try. And so if nothing's ever asked of you, you seldom will try things all by yourself. So it was really when people began to want things that I didn't know if I could do it or not, and I began to learn that I could.
Tell me, tell me how you display some of the pieces and how that's evolved. You used the real pretty cake.
The plateaus, right? We begin to see those plateaus in like national magazines. And I thought, well, if someone else is using those plateaus, I want to. And so I began to question people on how to find them. It took me 3 years to get my first one. And when it came in crooked, and I had to send it back. I was so disappointed. But we can put our cakes on a mirror. That's kind of an old standard way of displaying your cake, and then maybe put a few fresh flowers around on top of the mirror. We can put them on a silver plateau, or if your grandmother or your mother has a beautiful silver tray that's been in the family, we'll put it on that. We can use any of your family silver and use it in your wedding.
What are the steps if, when someone's coming in and they want to plan perfect wedding cake, how can they communicate to you in the best way what they want?
Okay. First of all, let me say that my perfect wedding cake and your perfect wedding cake might be a little different. So what I want to do really is to plan that bride's perfect wedding cake. Of course, the first thing we need to know is the wedding date. Whether it's hot weather, cold weather, kind of helps us to know what we can do best. We need to know really how many people you want to serve. How many people you serve kind of determines how small or large your cake is. But something else we need to know is some ladies want that wedding cake to be the centerpiece of their whole reception. And if you do, we might need to give them more cake than they need to eat. But that's not a bad thing. You have your pictures forever. You have the ambiance of how large the cake is, how beautiful the cake is, sets the mood for the room it's in. So what we really need to know is, do you want just cake to eat as dessert, or do you want that to be displayed in the center of the room as your centerpiece? And if you want just dessert, then we'll need to know how many people you're going to serve and kind of start there.
Tell me what about when people bring you pictures and things like that? What are some things people can bring to help you?
Of course, I have my own website. We have 200 pictures on that website. Most of the ladies now are pulling that site up, seeing something they like, and bringing my own picture to me, which I love that. Other people have websites. Lot of wedding cake sites on the internet. You can bring me one of those pictures. Magazines. Any of the national magazines or our local magazines have lovely wedding pictures in them. You can bring me one of those, and most of them I can do. Sometimes when the printed magazine pictures are expensive. They pick out the most beautiful cakes in the world to print or to have in their magazine. Some of them are very expensive, but we can do alternatives to a lot of money. Most people don't want to spend just a fortune on their cake, but they want it gorgeous and they want it to taste good. So we can work with a picture and maybe even give you something that's not quite so expensive to use at your wedding.
Tell me a little bit about, for you, about the actual cake itself, though, because it's not just what's on the outside, but what's on the inside
Right.
that makes a wedding cake so good.
Right. I think ours tastes good because we do use butter. I think that's and sometimes people cannot eat butter, and we use a very good margarine. A liquid oil is never as tasty as a dairy product for the moisture, and we do use good eggs. You know, you have to have that egg yolk and you have to have that butter in it to really make it moist. So I think that's what kind of sets mine apart. But also, you know, if your grandmother made this wonderful pound cake as a child, bring me that recipe. We can do that too. We'd be happy to use your recipe.
That's great. Hold on. We had to do this the last time and I'll plug it back in.
Sorry about that.
It's
Forgot.
okay. We were doing so good and then all of a sudden, like, clunk.
Where's that sound coming from?
But I want to show you, this is the way it looks right here,
Yeah.
is the way it will broadcast.
Good, good.
I mean, it's so much. In fact, I brought one of my tapes to leave with you so you can see
Good,
what I'm doing now.
good.
'Cause it's been so long.
It has, hasn't it? I was thinking you said 3 years a while ago. It seems longer than that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But our first time, we've been in this building 3 years, so that's about right.
You had just moved in.
Just over here.
It's took me long enough.
No problem.
Okay, I'm trying to think of some other. What about the actual day of the wedding? How do you prepare and get the cake there and have it? How do you work with the florist and making sure the overall look of the cake is right?
Okay. Well, when you come in for your appointment to sit down with me and let's choose your perfect wedding cake, what I do is I ask you who is your florist, who is your caterer, and where you'll be having your reception. The week before the wedding, I will begin calling people. I'll call your reception site and say what is a good time for you to open the door and have everything ready for me to come. I'll work with them, and then if the caterer will provide your tablecloth, I'll call the caterer and say, when will you have the tablecloth ready? And then if you're having fresh flowers on your cake or just around the base, I'll call the florist, and typically we all kind of meet there at the same time. That's a real delicate thing too when you have more than one place to be and more than one florist and caterer to work with. That's probably my hardest thing to get worked out, is my scheduling for delivery. The place won't want to open their doors till 2, and the florist needs to get in there at 11, and you know we really have, that is a real thing to deal with on delivery day. But it is so much fun. I get such enjoyment out of working that scheduling out. That really is a real treat to get all that worked out. And so Saturday afternoon, when I've done all my deliveries and seen all my people and set all my cakes up, I just feel like I've done something real special.
Tell me about when people, the feedback that you've gotten from the brides. What are some of the most meaningful things somebody's ever said to you after you've done your wedding?
The thank you cards a week or so later, and when they say, you just made my perfect wedding cake. You heard everything I said, and you did what I asked you to do. A real statement people tell me is that I told the person exactly what I wanted, and they still didn't do it. And so I really try to listen and make sure I'm hearing everything she says, and maybe some things that she's not saying, so I can suit her. I can fit her wedding cake to her like her dress fits. I want it just the right size, and I want it just the right color that will please her. And I try to remember the fact of the lighting in the places. I've been almost everywhere in Mobile that you'll put a wedding cake. I've been there already. And I know about the windows, and I know about the lighting. And so I hear things like, you knew all the little things to do to make my day perfect. And when they bring the silver plateaus and all back on Monday after that, they'll just say, it's the best cake I've ever had. And that just means so much. After all that hard work, you want it to be right.
For you personally, what's been the best thing? I mean, been in business, or I've known you for 3 years, but for you, how have you seen yourself grow as a businesswoman and as an artist?
First of all, I realized I can do things I didn't know I could do. And I've been stretched, and stretching is always very good for you. You know, when someone will say, can you do this or that? And I'll say, well, I think I can, but let me try it and make sure I can do it. And then it is good. That is such a treat to get to see yourself grow in areas that you didn't even know you could do it. And I have seen the respect of people that very humbling. It's very humbling to see very good, sweet people respect you and care for you because you're trying, because you're working hard and you're trying. That's been very humbling, but made me very happy, very satisfied.
Tell me about your website. Where can people find your website?
www.cakesbydjudi.com, and it's all lowercase letters, all run together, and it's Judi. And that's been a real blessing to have that. Now, I don't work the website myself. I have a lady that works it for me because I don't know how. But I've seen the real joy. I have people order cakes over the website from Canada. I had a lady from Canada that lived in Canada and was coming back here to Mobile to get married. This is home. She ordered everything right over the internet. And I had a lady from California. I had a lady from Nevada order an anniversary cake for her parents here. Never did see her. And we did the whole thing right over the internet. So that's been such a treat, such a blessing.
That's great. We're good.